Hi group, so this is flipped part 2 for chromosomes and genes. This is just going to cover a couple of the questions we haven't talked about. So here we go. All right, so the first I want to clear up is chromatin, chromosome, chromatid. A lot of times they're kind of used interchangeably, but they're a little bit different. I want to make sure you know what's what. So let's go with this one first. So we talked about chromosomes in the last section. A chromosome looks like this, right? Usually it looks like an X. Sometimes it's just this little one rod thing. This is a chromosome. We all pretty much at this point know what that looks like. However, if you were to take it apart and have it kind of like this, each half of a chromosome is called a chromatid. Okay, so after it duplicates, each half is called a chromatid. But the thing is, it doesn't always have this shape. A lot of times it's unwound DNA just kind of hanging out in the nucleus. And when that's the case, it's called chromatin. All right, so chromatin, then when it wounds itself up really tight, it becomes a chromosome, with each half calling a chromatid. All right, now some other words. Diploid, haploid. This picture shows it well. Di prefix means two, so it means there are pairs. Haploid means half, right? So in most of our cells, 99.9% of our cells, this is what it looks like, 23 pairs. However, some cells look like this. Those are your gamete cells. Now, gamete cells are your sex cells, sperm cells, and egg cells. Now, I want to clear up the biggest misconception. This is what a sex cell looks like. This is a sex chromosome. Okay, so sex chromosome means XY. Sex cell is a cell that has half the number of chromosomes, and it is also known as a gamete. Okay, there's a part of this video that I'd like to show you, if it'll let me show you, that I think does a pretty good job here in it. So this is the same idea, right? So this is your normal cells, your blood cells and nerve cells and things like that, and they're diploids, okay? Some of the details are there. And then over here, they do a good job of explaining the difference here. Your sex cells, okay? Only one of each, only one total sex chromosome and 22 autosomes total. So that's what we got for that. Now this one here, this is my favorite, right? How do we look like mom and dad? What percent of our chromosomes are the same and different? All right, so if we actually go to this video, there's a certain section that does a good job. This is what our cells look like normally, right? But then when our mom makes an egg cell or a gamete cell, she only has half the number of chromosomes. So instead of 23 pairs, she just goes to 23. Now this is where it gets really interesting. When she does that, we don't know which one from each pair will go in her egg cell. There might be a yellow and a red. So when she does this, this is kind of what happens, right? So her egg cell might be something like this. She has only one now instead of a pair, but we don't, this was the red one and the yellow one, and these represent essentially one from each pair. So she ends up with 23 chromosomes, one from each of her original pairs, but it's a complete variety of which one she gets. And then eventually, this mom's egg will meet a dad's sperm, and in a dad's sperm, the exact same thing happens. The dad, same thing, will get 23 chromosomes total, complete variety of which ones he got from each pair. Okay, so then when they get together, this makes you. This is what we are, a total now of 23 pairs or 46 total. So you end up with half of your chromosomes from mom, half of them come from dad. Okay, and but what's interesting is that you know that your brother or mother, or I'm sorry, your brother or sister, if you have one, also is half mom and half dad, but they are completely different set of yellow and red from mom and a completely different set of blue and green from dad. So they're both half mom and half dad, but you all probably got totally different random assortment. You both might have got the same number one, but maybe not. So that's why you have some traits that are the exact same as your brother and some that are not, because it all depends on which ones your mom went into your mom's egg cell and which one went into your dad's sperm cell. This is tricky. So definitely ask me some questions if you need to, or watch this video because they do a pretty good job explaining it too. The title's right there. All right, I hope this helped.